Welcome to the second episode of Weekly Football Talk, or WFT. My name is once again Lee Lublin, and today we're actually going to have kind of a special episode. So, to just kind of spoil it, the main game I'm going to be talking about and recapping is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Minnesota Vikings. And the reason for that is I actually was able to go to that game. And the rest of the video after my recap will be showing off pictures of the stadium, pictures of me at the stadium, and then a few videos that I recorded of the game, including the game-winning field goal. So before I show off all that, I just want to give a recap of the game and then talk about a couple other things around the NFL. So, first of all, I actually predicted before the season that Minnesota Vikings would win this game. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Minnesota Vikings, I am very low on the Cincinnati Bengals head coach, Zach Taylor. I do not think he is a good coach at all. And I think Cincinnati is going to once again have a very bad season because of him. So, because of that, I thought Minnesota would get off on the right foot and start 1-0 against Cincinnati. Obviously, I was very wrong. Minnesota came out very undisciplined. I think they ended up finishing with 13 penalties for over 100 yards. Not a good look at all for them. And honestly, besides Dalvin Cook, I wasn't really... And Adam Thielen. He had a great game as well. I wasn't really impressed too much by anything on the Vikings offense. Kirk Cousins made some throws, but if you really watch the game, a lot of his throws, he forced his receivers to make some very good big plays. And luckily, Adam Thielen had a great game, and Justin Jefferson is still Justin Jefferson. He's going to make some incredible plays. So, it ended up still working out. But Kirk Cousins, even though the stats said he had a pretty good game, I think it was a pretty blah game, all things considered. For Cincinnati, though, Jamar Chase, huge shock in my opinion. After everything that happened with him in the preseason, I was super scared of him. I was out on him. He was looking like John Ross 2.0, which, if you know John Ross, that is not a good thing. So, luckily, he got his NFL career off to a very good start. 5 catches, 101 yards, including a 50-yard touchdown, which was easily the highlight of the game. And it was also great to see his former quarterback at LSU, now starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, start his first game since his torn ACL. And he played pretty well. There was a little bit of a scare where he came out limping at one point, and I could tell a lot of the hometown Bengals fans around me were very scared for a minute or two, but came back in, and in the end threw the game-winning pass to his tight end that set up a game-winning field goal. And I will just say, once again, Zach Taylor, not a good coach. It really felt like he almost threw the game away himself. Made some very bad calls, play calling, and then some very dumb decisions that, luckily, his defense ended up bailing him out at the end with a forced fumble. It wasn't a fumble, but I understand why it was called a fumble in the end, because it was initially called one, and it was very, very hard to see that it was a fumble in the review unless you looked for a long time. But in the end, Cincinnati pulled out a win, starts 1-0. That's huge. Minnesota, luckily for them, every other team in their division also lost, so they are 0-1 with the rest of their division. And then just a couple more things around the league before I switch over to the stuff from the game. Congrats to Jameis Winston as a former Bucs fan. I just want to say, great first game for the Saints as their starting quarterback. 5 touchdowns. Not the most impressive yardage, but that's all they needed was the 5 touchdowns. And as a Bucs fan, it's bittersweet, but more sweet to see him actually succeed somewhere else. And hopefully it will continue. Not enough for them to beat us, but at least against every other team. And then, other probably biggest game of the week was Kansas City, Cleveland. Shout outs to Cleveland for being in the lead most of the game. Unfortunately, a few turnovers in the second half ended up sinking them in the long term. And Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are still monsters that are just insane. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. And the rest of the video is just going to be footage from my trip to Cincinnati. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.